Happy Monday. How is your Monday going? I hope everything is good with you. And I wanted to continue sharing my story, my soul healing story. I realized I kind of ventured off completely, and that's kind of how healing happens, at least from my experience. You will be going multiple directions, like, you know, if something touches you, touches your heart, and your intuition will be kind of pushing you towards that direction, then you just do that. And a lot of times you will learn a little bit of one lesson and then a little bit of the other lesson, and then these two lessons will come together, and you then will kind of go back to the same scenario. It could be like the same lesson but in a different shape or form, or a person interaction, and then you will know if you healed that part of you, because you will no longer be triggered. You will have a completely different reaction and response to that situation. So anyway, I'm going back to sharing my story, and the last time I recorded in chronological progression was how I hit that mega lesson with my friend, co-worker, and that lesson was huge. It taught me so many things, and it was a very long lesson over many months. And the more I focused on myself, and the more I was taking personal responsibility and always looking at my own self, at my reactions, at my feelings, at my emotions, at my thoughts, the more I healed, slowly but surely. So that lady that I had a huge conflict with, I learned through that relationship with her that I was an empath. I was able somehow to feel people's energy differently from how other people, see people. I could detect when people are not authentic, when they're really kind of like lying to themselves and others, like they're wearing a really, really huge mask. And I was learning that I was judgmental. I was judgmental towards others, and I was judgmental towards myself. So it was that mirror. Once I realized I was doing it to others, I learned it was stemming from me actually judging my own self. Then I learned also that I was chasing her for forgiveness, because I wanted ultimately to be liked. So that was coming from that. And the other lesson I was learning from that particular relationship was that that our feelings are our feelings. People trigger us, but the response, that painful response, is already in us. So when I hurt my friend with my words, and when I asked for forgiveness, realizing that was hurtful, and she didn't forgive me, I reached out to my spiritual teacher, if you remember, and he was the one who gave me this new perception of things, that feelings are our feelings. Nobody can put feelings in our people. And that pushed me to go further on my own inward journey, figuring out how the feelings are formed and why we get triggered and so forth. So that lesson was just huge. And so what was going on, as I was kind of like learning all these mini parts of this bigger puzzle, I remember one day, I was still judging her. Like, I was still saying, oh my God, how weird that, she's just like being so inauthentic, and she's just faking this life, and it's just, it's all it's so fake, and like people don't see it, but somehow I see it. And so during that kind of loop of inner conversation, all of a sudden I heard my own voice, very calm and peaceful, and it told me, don't judge. And I know it was my higher self. Now I know. at that time I just knew that I had to listen to this voice, because again, I'm always intuitive, so I listen to those like inner messages, that feeling, if it tells me that it's the right thing to do, I follow that. So at that time it was this voice. It told me, don't judge, stop judging. And I kind of paused, and I remember it was at work, and so because it was a conflict at my work environment, so we were avoiding each other, and I was going through these oh, I feel horrible that I hurt her, and then like figuring out, no, actually I didn't hurt her, she cannot forgive somehow, some feelings are holding her hostage and so forth. But I was still judging. A lot of times I was judging still. So once that voice told me, stop judging, I remember I paused and kind of like, wait a second, what is this about? And then the voice, it's my voice, my inner voice, but it's like very peaceful, calm and loving, and it told me, do not judge her. And then I just held that message. It was my soul message. So I held it kind of in my heart, and my shift ended, and I went home. And as my whole soul healing story, I went on Google and I started Googling this, not judging, just kind of exploring this topic. And then I come across, I think it was an article, and it said that in order for us to heal ourselves, we need to find time every day to send forgiveness to the people we're having a hard time with. So if we have a particular person who we're struggling with, we need to be able to send love and healing and forgiveness to that person. And that is how healing happens, because by doing that, you are freeing your own self from that negative energy of non-forgiveness. So I started exploring that subject, just reading more on Google, looking up quotes on Instagram and Facebook and so forth. Then maybe 1 or 2 days later, I was chatting with my friend, and we seem to always kind of be on similar soul evolution spiral, but different paths. But somehow we always match in these kind of lessons that we were learning. And she was the one telling me, she said, hey, I just like read this book, or like she watched a video, and it kind of was the same message. It said each day find 5 minutes, either in the morning or in the evening, and you say something, some things that you're grateful for, and then you just say, I send love and forgiveness and healing to the person you're struggling with. So I took that message to heart, because I remember that, I heard that inner voice telling me at work, stop judging. And then I researched the topic, and it really resonated with me. And then my friend also said the same message. So I thought that was the lesson that I needed to learn a little bit more. And of course, as I was in it, I didn't call it lessons. I didn't see all of this picture together as I see it now. I was just going through each day with an open heart and a desire to heal, a desire to figure out how to be a happy, free human on this earth, and have a very meaningful, joyful, authentic life experience, life journey. So I incorporated that. I just started doing this exercise. I told myself, okay, each day you're going to say this. You're going to send love and healing to this person that you're really having a hard time with. And I remember my friend also told me that somehow it, that energy reaches them. So I just started saying that. I send love and healing to her name. I send love and healing to her name. And a lot of times I didn't even feel like, like I cared about her, like, I had resentment in me, but I just kept practicing this. I kept saying this daily. I send love and healing, I send love and healing. And weeks later, the shift happened. I felt lighter, and I felt more loving towards her and towards myself. And I knew that I was able to shift my inner energy to love and forgiveness.